What is the secret of endless happiness? What is happiness? Why were we created? What is the value of those who have no inner and outer distinction? How are the veils that fall on hearts and eyes lifted? What is the secret of calamities and misfortunes? How do we wake from the sleep of heedlessness? Because you were ungrateful, you were separated from Him. Turn away from this deception before you are struck, leave this state before disaster strikes. Seek the ways of precaution before scorpions nest on your head and snakes swarm around you. Fear your bad state, but your delusion is not complete until you taste calamity. Do not let your current state drown you in joy, for joy is a temporary thing. Allah the Exalted says in a verse, "They rejoiced in what was given to them, and then we took it away from them suddenly, and they were left in despair." Al-An'am 44. Meeting with Allah is only possible with patience. He has always commanded patience. The lives of most believers are filled with hardship, even if they have many possessions, because they are bound by many principles. Fulfilling these is a struggle within. Only those who are not bound by any principles are comfortable, and they are the irreligious who do not commit to any religion. When Allah's beloved servants fall into calamity, they rush to patience, they do not cry or moan. Even in calamity, believers look for good deeds. Their state increases them in truth. Yes, without patience, there would be no happiness. Without patience, I would not be among you. I want to talk to you like a child who hunts birds. I rush to you, I do not sleep at night, my eyes remain closed during the day. If it were not for the divine consent, these things would not happen. Think about it, would a sane person stay in this city, live here according to his own pleasure, stay with inappropriate and irritable people? Hypocrisy has spread, oppression has increased, disrespect has gone unchecked. People blatantly commit the unlawful, ingratitude to Allah's blessings has increased. Support for evildoers and all sorts of wickedness has increased. In the markets, heretics mock religion, wine is drunk on pulpits, which should be sources of wisdom. If there were a given judgment, I would list and spill all the bad deeds you do in your homes. But my primary task is the education and upbringing of my children. If I tell you your state, I would have to leave immediately. This leaves every task unfinished. Today, I need the support of past elders, the spirituality of prophets. I seek the patience of all the great ones from Prophet Adam to the present for you. I need divine and spiritual strength. O Lord, please help all your servants, all believers, all listeners. Lead us to your pleasure. O child, you are not created to stay permanently in the world, you will not live forever. You are not just here to eat and drink. Change your state immediately. Perhaps you are engaged in things Allah dislikes. Consider the word of unity, there is no God but Allah, as a mountain to distribute. But do not be content with just this, it won't benefit you alone. Follow this with other acts of worship, help abundantly, look after your surroundings, look after yourself. Faith is comprised of belief, words, and deeds. Merely having faith won't save you from the pit you're in. If you persist in this state, neglecting prayer, fasting, and other obligatory worship, not recognizing charity, it will only lead to disaster. Which letter of unity will pull you out of the pit of sin? When you say, "There is no God but Allah," you embark on a cause that requires a witness. In every cause, witnesses are needed. Without witnesses, you lose. In this case, the witness is to observe the commands and avoid the prohibitions. Also, to bear any calamity and obligation for this cause counts as a witness. Moreover, these are your guides on the path. When it's time to act, sincerity is essential. No word is accepted without action, and no deed is accepted without sincerity. The way of the Prophet is about sincerity. Give to the needy from the wealth in your home. Do not send beggars away empty-handed. Strive to give something, whether little or much as you can. Do as Allah has given to you. Distribute His gifts to the needy, and follow the path of gratitude. Look at how many blessings He has bestowed upon you. Isn't it necessary for you to look after the needy in this state? Charity brings happiness. Shame on you if you would have readily accepted a gift from a beggar at your door, but now you hesitate. Now you sit with me, listening to my words, tears streaming from your eyes. But as soon as you go outside, it's as if you never heard these teachings, your eyes dry, and your heart hardens. When you encounter a poor person, you don't even want to let them near you. This shows that you cried falsely, you did not listen to my words sincerely. You should listen to my words for the sake of Allah, and tears should flow from your eyes for His sake. The words you hear from me should first penetrate the secret, then cleanse your heart, and then permeate all your feelings for good. This is how you reach me. When you come to me, set aside your hands, your tongue, your reasons, your children, and all your acquaintances. In my presence, I don't want to see anything other than truth from you. Only then will He cover you with His abundance and grace. After accepting you as His own, you become like a bird without will. Light from the truth will come to your heart. As an indication, the Prophet said, "Beware of the believer's insight, for he sees with the light given by Allah." O corrupt man, beware of the believer. Do not enter his presence with the filth of sin, for he sees everything with the light of Allah. He understands the hidden vinegar of disbelief and hypocrisy in your interior. The clothes you wear cannot hide you from their sight, no matter how much you cover yourself, they still see. Those who cannot see well are not good. You are but a whim. You are also mixed with those chasing desires. A troubled person asked his friend, "How long will this blindness last?" The other replied, "Until the medicine is found." Keep searching tirelessly for the cure. When you find it, bow your head and pray. Think only of good, do not think of harming or conquering him. If you are blind, take your child and head to the doctor's door. Don't tire, wait at his door. Accept every medicine he gives with trust. Even if it tastes bitter, endure it. Thus, your condition will improve, and your eyes will open. Make your heart vast for Allah, leave all your affairs to Him. Always watch over what you do and make sure to derive a lesson for yourself from each experience. Look back and forward, see it all. Don't let your ego exceed its limits, crush it with the brink of bankruptcy, never leave it alone. Engage with it every day, never tire of making it apologize for its mistakes. Confess every fault, then bring the ego to terms with your own existence. Remember, whether gain or loss, it comes from none but Allah. The giver and taker is He alone, believe in this. For a human, the sweetest thing is faith, which leads to abundant life. The unseen parts of the heart are lifted, and the inside of the heart and soul becomes active. O child, wearing coarse clothes is not the essence. Putting aside the act of eating and drinking is not the issue. The real important thing is for the heart not to accept evil things. True piety starts with wearing it inside, then externally. Make your soul love the path of truth, stimulate your inner world, then let this piety envelop your entire being. The garment of piety, when worn by a seeker of truth, may be a bit tight, but if patience is found, the merciful hand of the Lord rescues him. The Lord's mercy and compassion transform his entire state into a garden, removing all distress. When the seeker of truth chooses his path well, his Lord quickly removes him from this muddy garment of the world and brings him to relief. Calamity turns to blessing, constriction to expansion, fear to safety. Distance becomes nearness, poverty disappears, and the richness of heart and soul takes its place. O child, do not greedily grab what comes to your hand, take it calmly. Eating your meal innocently is good, but sitting at the table with arrogance and neglect is not. It resembles one who has forgotten their Lord. When you take a morsel, dedicate your heart to Allah. With this state, what you eat becomes light, and no evil touches you. A medicine, if taken as advised, does no harm, but if taken according to one's own whims, its harm is unpredictable and can strike suddenly, leaving you bewildered. The darkness in your heart drags me down to the hereafter. Trust among you has disappeared. You no longer trust each other, show no pity, and do not help each other. Weren't divine commands entrusted to you? Yet, you cast them aside. Shame on us, why aren't we holding on to the future? Did we agree to live in such a righteous state? If this continues, darkness will soon cover our eyes, paralysis will strike our hands and feet. We won't be able to move, let alone walk. The door of Allah's mercy will close to us all. Hatred and disdain will spring from people's hearts towards us. Their good thoughts will stay away from us. Then who will help us? Do not be stingy in the face of divine power and strength, fear it greatly. No one escapes his might. His grip is severe, and once he holds, he does not let go. We cannot endure his shaking. In a moment of prosperity and joy, we may suddenly fall into the depths. He is the owner of the heavens and the earth. Let's preserve his blessings with gratitude, accept his command, keep away from what he forbids, and carry all his decrees above our heads. When difficulties come, face them with the shield of patience. If we seek ease, let's not forget the lamp of gratitude. Our predecessors did so, the state of prophets and the righteous was such. When blessings came, they welcomed them joyfully. When calamity struck, they did not shout or cry out, but sought help from Allah. Leave the table of rebellion immediately and distance yourself, sit at the table of distribution, and eat abundantly without exceeding the limits. When ease comes your way, rush to gratitude. When faced with a harsh task, remember your faults and seek forgiveness. Hold your ego accountable. Allah does not wrong any of his servants. Think of death and what follows, remember the Creator and the accountability before him. When your faults are exposed, how will he look at you, and with what face will you look at him? Think of this difficult situation. Be alert, how long will this sleep last? How long will this ignorance and hesitation and falsehood continue? How long will you sleep to the desires of the ego that makes you unhappy? Aren't the desires of your ego what makes you unhappy? Why didn't you become a servant of the truth, enter the path of manners and discipline, and why didn't you follow the Prophet and his way? Worship means leaving temporary things for a certain time. Why didn't you enter this path and hold on to the Qur'an and the Prophet's words? You didn't find the path of Allah. Perhaps without the ability to distinguish good from evil, do not mix with people, do not meddle in their affairs. Everything is clear, then enter, otherwise, you'll be mixed with them in their sleep. Beware, be knowledgeable and insightful. If you see good, join. If you sense evil, escape and help as much as you can to keep evil away from people. You are utterly heedless of the truth. It is imperative to wake up immediately, leave your state of heedlessness. Enter mosques, recite salat and salam to the Prophet there. Don't be afraid, no one will eat you there. Your spirituality will be strengthened, you will be saved from calamities. Our Prophet says, even if there is one person, he will be saved from the fire that rains from the sky if he is a person of prayer. When you stand for prayer, cut off your connection with people and be with the truth. Our Prophet says, the closest moment a servant is to Allah is during prostration. Aren't we wasting ourselves? Where are we directing our intelligence and spirit? What ease are we waiting for? How long will this state last? Deviating from the path of truth means denying the truth. If we had followed the path of truth and righteousness as the owners of the hereafter, we would not have fallen into this state. If we had pursued good deeds, Allah would have been our helper and saved us. How did we abandon such determination? Effort and sacrifice are gone, sacrifice has disappeared. Everyone is looking for the easy way, the place is filled with shallow acts. We worship for show and say, look, see. We don't make anyone happy, no one is true to their word and essence. What will become of us? Our condition is such that wealth is unjustly acquired, and among those who pray, how many are genuine? People go to the Kaaba just to say they have, but since actions are judged by intentions, they find no benefit. Even if a couple of things work out, they do it for their own gains, not caring for what's right. In this era, the finest art for people has become to chase after the crowd. The Creator is absent in their eyes, His love erased from their souls, and we have drifted away from ourselves. How can one who does not know oneself be happy? How can one who does not know the truth be happy? Have we all killed our hearts, making them like the dead? Have our mistakes devastated them? Have we revived our egos, or have our errors caused this? Notice how our personal desires lead in everything. We have become seekers of only this world. When we remove the community and the crowd from our hearts, then, perhaps, they might thrive. Being with the Creator is not a material or physical state, it is about following His commandments. You must understand the meaning of my words, looking only at the surface is not enough. The value and interpretation of my words are spiritual, here, material words do not prevail. Follow Allah's commandments, avoid His prohibitions. Your heart will then revive, withstand all calamities, and bear patiently. Submit to the decrees of fate and destiny. If you do this, the doors of spiritual life will open for you. O child, only after you have immersed yourself in His works will you truly be with Him, and then the goodness of your work begins. Is there not a foundation to reach? A building is erected on its foundation, and this building is not easily constructed. It requires continuous work, day and night, dedicated to a purpose. Otherwise, it is useless. Contemplation originates from the heart. Turn to your heart, think of your family, be grateful for your situation. Otherwise, repent and beg for the truth. Your mind can be revitalized through contemplation. Satan and evil thoughts are buried in good thinking. This is why our prophet said that a moment of good thought, contemplation, is better than a night of worship. Actions done without contemplation are ill-fated and do not lead to salvation, rather, they sink one deeper into the mire. O followers of Muhammad, accustom yourselves to thanking Allah, happiness is there. Even a small act of worship is acceptable to Him. Indeed, compared to those before you, your worship is very little. Therefore, what you do must be sincere. If so, it counts as much. Just hold on to the true path sincerely. We came later, but on the day of judgment, we will rise before other communities. This is our virtue, there is no one better than us in doing good. Know your worth, others are beneath you. You cannot find the truth as long as your ego settles in its den. As long as you chase after natural and personal desires, you cannot see the measure. If you nourish the ambition to forcibly take what is in people's hands, do not expect truthfulness. As long as hypocrisy, duplicity, and selfishness own the depths of your being, you cannot find peace. You won't be able to discern the truth. As you drift among worldly people, as long as you don't remove the clouds of greed from your eyes, don't expect goodness. Do not wish for peace in matters of the hereafter. As long as you favor the devil's ideas over Allah's in your spirit, the door of measure will remain closed to you. O Allah, with your existence, grant us goodness, bestow upon us the beauty of this world and the hereafter, and protect us from burning in the fire. Baqarah Surah 201.